Miles Morales, a character that has become very popular over the last couple of years, thanks to his story starting to become more well known, thanks to films such as Across and Into the Spider Verse, as well as the Insomniac games. A character that, for the most part, throughout the latter of his 10 years of being a existing character, has pretty much gained his way into the hearts and minds of many Spider-Man fans as the most likely person to be known as Spider-Man outside of the original Peter Parker. But even with that all, it still leads to a lot of debates that you probably have been seeing for a long time. Yep, this is exactly the video you think it is. This is, of course, me talking about the whole is Miles Morales Spider Man debate that you've probably been seeing a lot of other people talk about, or necessarily
that you've been seeing the internet trying so hard to debate the fact that he isn't.
I couldn't not talk about this at this point. This has just been going on way too long, and thankfully, other people have put up, points about, you know, Miles being to Spider Man, why he is Spider Man. But since this is a discussion that people still want to have, I guess I gotta put my hat in the ring and talk about it. So, this is going to be why I believe and the facts of why Miles Morales is indeed Spider Man, coming from a long-time Miles Morales fan. So, let's talk about, discuss, and see if maybe I could put to bed this whole discussion.
Initiating system.
Warning, 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 warning.
All right, let's do this one last time.
And now for our feature presentation.
So, you've probably just been seeing it like floating around the internet every so now and often. Usually it shows up on Twitter, or wait, hold on, I'm sorry, X. Ugh. You probably been seeing it showing up on Twitter every so often. The whole fact that Miles Morales starts to trend, and given the fact that either the game is around or one of the movies is around, you're probably like, okay, why is Miles trending at this moment? And you see that it's always the debate about Miles Morales isn't Spider-Man because dot dot dot. It's always something that comes up every couple of months, and I see it every so often, either because I get told about it or I stumble upon it myself. I see these discussions happening way too many times. People bringing up the baseless points of why Miles isn't Spider-Man. I've seen it for like the past couple of years. Hell, I've seen people debate this since the character's existence. Because while many of us are pretty much fond of the character of Miles Morales at this point, when Miles was first introduced, people wanted him gone for the reasons that you probably thought about. Oh, it's a character of a different race or gender taking over an already existing mantle of an already existing superhero. Of course, people are gonna freaking hate it. At first, at least. It's the same thing with Riri Williams. It's the same thing with many other characters of the recent decade, the recent 2 decades, that have some connection to a pre-existing Marvel character, no matter how long they've been around. And even if they've had it happen to them already by other characters that people have not said about, you'll still see people having these debates about, oh, this character can't be Spider-Man. Oh, this character can't be blah blah blah. And it just comes up. It always comes back and back, and it's something that I can't really stand at this point. But you may be asking, okay, well then tell us, why indeed is Miles Spider-Man? Well, one of the big reasons that he is Spider-Man is going back to the factor of Spider-Man. I mean, hell, as we of course know, his iconic costume covers him completely from head to toe. He's meant to not specifically be represented as one gender or race or whatever. I mean, hell, Stan Lee even said it himself, and I quote of the great man himself, one of the greatest things about Spider Man's outfit? His costume. He's completely covered. So any kid can imagine himself being Spider Man because no color of skin shows. He could be black under that, he could be red, he could be yellow, he could be any race. And yeah, that wasn't done purposefully, it was done accidentally, but I think it was the best thing we did, making him so he could be anyone under the costume. Literally, that was the entire message as well of Into the Spider-Verse. Literally, the ending thing that Miles says is that anybody could wear the mask. You could wear the mask. Literally, as long as you're holding true to the ideals of what Spider-Man is always known for, power and responsibility, it doesn't matter who you are under your mask, race or gender. you're allowed to be Spider-Man or Spider-Woman or whatever pronunciation you want to bring up. Another debate that a lot of people try to say is like, oh, he's not Spider-Man because we always refer to him as Miles Morales. Whenever people refer to Spider-Man, they always refer to Peter Parker. And, okay, I can see where you're going with that, but the reason for that is because we need classification at this point. There are so many characters within the Spider-Verse that you can't just say Spider-Man and expect us to specifically know one if you're not talking about Peter Parker. That's why Peter Parker is often referred to as the Amazing Spider-Man, and why Ben Reilly is referred to as Scarlet Spider or the Sensational Spider-Man, while Miles is known as Miles Morales or the Ultimate Spider-Man. Or in other cases, like Spider-Gwen, even though she's called Spider-Woman on her Earth, and as characters refer to her in her stories, we still refer to her as Spider-Gwen, or as her other moniker, Ghost Spider. We refer to Hobie Brown Spider-Man as Spider-Punk, because that's how you identify him. Same with Spider-Man India, same with Spider-Woman, same with Spider-Bite, same with Miguel O'Hara. We refer to him as Miguel or Spider-Man 2099, because he's the Spider-Man of 2099. Hell, even Otto Octavius, when he was Superior Spider-Man, he's classified as the Superior Spider-Man, so that way you know, oh, that's Doc Ock as Spider-Man. You need these classifications, otherwise it's going to get confusing. It's the same thing with how we refer to, the Flashes. We refer to Barry Allen as Barry Allen and Wally West as Wally West. That doesn't mean either of them aren't the Flash. Same goes with all the Green Lanterns. Same goes when it comes to, the Captain America mantle. We refer to Cap as Steve Rogers usually, and we refer to Sam Wilson as Sam Wilson. But they're both still Captain America. They're both still people that have held the mantle. Same thing when it comes to Thor with both Odin Sun and Jane Foster. It's literally just a classification, so that way you don't get confused. Because if you were to just say Spider-Man, especially given somebody who knows how many characters have taken over the Spider-Man mantle or have a Spider-Man-like name to them, you're gonna get confused unless you specifically say Ultimate Spider-Man, and then you mean either Ultimate Peter Parker or Miles Morales. That's just how it is. That's literally how it is. Like, hell, that's the same thing for, like, many other characters that have had many other people take over their mantles, or have had mantles that are similar to another existing character. Like the Robins for Batman. You specifically talk as their names, as their real names, or as other mantles that they've had, instead of just calling them Robin. Because Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Damian Wayne. Like, you have to clarify them or else it's going to get confusing. So when people refer to him as Miles Morales, we're not saying he isn't Spider-Man, it's just we're referring to as Miles Morales Spider-Man. Because otherwise you're going to get confused with like the 1,000 to million other Spider people that exist within the multiverse, both comic-wise and animated and live-action-wise. It'll get confusing. It will get hella confusing. That's why we refer to the trilogies of Spider-Man in their own way. Tobey Maguire's trilogy is just known as the Spider-Man trilogy. Andrew Garfield's movies are known as the Amazing Spider-Man movies. And Tom Holland's movies are known as the Home trilogy. It's a classification, and I don't get why people don't understand that. We don't say a specific thing to demoralize or to downplay anyone else being Spider-Man or their successes as a Spider character, but it's that way you know which one specifically you're talking about. Another point that a lot of people wanted to bring up was that he is a bland character with no important storylines whatsoever. Let me just run you down everything that Miles Morales has been going through over the last couple years, comic book wise. Ever since he got bitten by the radioactive spider, he was brought into Brooklyn Visions Academy through a lottery system. Something that, showed that it was really just by chance of him getting into this special school. Again, he got spider powers. He didn't act when the Ultimate Universe Peter Parker died, but he decided to take up the mantle anyways. He got the blessing of Nick Fury of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Spider-Woman in order to take over as Spider-Man, even though others like Captain America didn't want him to. He faced off against his uncle the Prowler. He faced off against Green Goblin, who got resurrected. He saved Captain America's life in an all-out war. And then, when the multiverse collapsed, he was brought into the main universe where he faced off against a bunch of other villains like Blackheart, the son of Mephisto, where he dealt with the second superhuman civil war. He has led the Spider Society in the second Spider-Verse event and even had the Captain Universe powers. This man has been tortured and captured by a villain named the Assessor. He's gone through so much stuff over the years that you can't say he's a bland character that hasn't done anything. Maybe people could say that at the beginning because there wasn't too much of a difference at the moment in time between Ultimate Peter and him. But still, Miles has gone through a lot over the last 10 plus years that yes, he has very much become his own character. He's not a bland character whatsoever. He's not a carbon copy of Peter Parker. He is his own character that has gone through his own things. He's not as smart as Peter. He can't even make his own web fluid. He has to have his best friend Genki do that for him. You know, he's not as intellectually intelligent as Peter, so he has to go through things through a different route, either by music or graffiti or thinking things out in his journal, which he's recently gone through. Again, like he deals with things in his own ways. It's not necessarily the same thing for Peter. Hell, it's never the same thing when it comes to any other character other than Peter who has taken up the Spider-Man mantle. Ben Reilly handles a lot of things differently than Peter Parker. Where Peter had struggled for the while to take on Venom, Ben Reilly's first foe becoming Scarlet Spider was Venom, and he took him down. Again, characters go through their own things no matter what mantle. So saying that Miles is a bland character that hasn't had any important storylines whatsoever is false, because he's had a lot. The man had to literally go in a fight against his uncle, and his uncle died of his own freaking gadgets. He had to watch his mother get killed in a battle against him and Venom. He had to basically see his entire old universe get destroyed and fight to realign the multiverse, and was gifted with the ability to be in the main universe. The man has been through so much by himself and with the other Marvel superheroes that he's not at all a bland character, especially after the two Spider-Verse films that have definitely cemented himself as a very much different Spider-Man. Again, when it comes to this whole debate about Miles being Spider-Man, I think it's really just down to the point of a lot of people not wanting him to be Spider-Man. Miles has been a character that, while it's simmered down in recent years, has gone through a lot of, the audience not wanting him to be Spider-Man, whether it's because of race or because of the fact that people will get triggered at anything that they don't know if they will like just instantly. Again, I've said this has happened for so many other characters that have taken on so many other mantles of already existing Marvel heroes. Biggest example, Riri Williams. People thought that she was just a female carbon copy version of Tony. But if you actually read her story, you will see how much different they are from one another. What different stuff they've gone through. How her pain and how that led to her becoming Ironheart is a little bit and very much different of an experience than Tony ever had to deal with when he got thrown into that cave with a box of scraps in order to save had to save his own life by creating a suit of armor. Riri didn't go through that. She had to see her stepfather and her best friend get gunned down. Like, that's not something that Tony went through, at least for his origin wise. Again, all of these characters have things that are different about them, that even if they have something that connects to a pre-existing established character, that does not mean that they aren't worthy of taking up the mantle, or taking up a mantle close to that character. In a world where there are a dozen Flashes, a billion Green Lanterns, multiple Kryptonians, many people within iron suits, multiple super soldiers, many gamma radiation monsters, and 1,000 gods of lightning, is it really that difficult to accept the fact that in a universe so big, there's going to be more than one person holding the mantle of a specific character? I don't think so. I think that it is a good thing, because it shows that the legacy of this character is something that is meant to live on, even if the originator isn't going to be alive to see it for much longer. Spider-Man has outlived many of us, including his original co-creators Steve Ditko and Stan Lee. He's outgrown pretty much a lot of us. Some of us have grown up with him for like years, and he's been there way longer than any of us have ever existed. So the fact that any character that can be Spider-Man, especially given the fact that the mask does not show skin, does not show specifically who you are, even if you tweak it to make it more your style, shows that it's a character and a mantle that can be passed down from multiple to multiple people. Not just talking about Miles in this case, but the many other people that have been Spider-Man, be it in the main universe or Elseworld stories. It does not matter. They are allowed to be Spider-Man. Because if you're saying that Miles can't be Spider-Man, then you're saying Miguel can't. You're saying that Ben Reilly can't. You're saying that Kane can't. You're saying that Jessica Drew can't be Spider-Woman. You're saying that Gwen Stacy can't be Ghost Spider. You're saying that Spider-Punk, Spider-Man India, Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Ham, amongst many, many, many characters that a lot of people have grown to love, can't be Spider-Man. that we can only have the one guy, that we can only have the main universe Peter Parker. And that's just not how life works anymore. I didn't really want to talk about this, but it's just something that just keeps coming around. The idea that, oh, we can't have more than one version of a character because you just don't want that to happen. Sorry to say that, but it's not really up to us. These companies are the ones that decide whether there's going to be more than one version of a character at the same time. That there can be more than one version of a character or more than one person holding the mantle of a certain character happening at the same time. Right now, currently, we have Ben Reilly still technically kind of around as a Spider. We still have Miles Morales, and we still have Peter Parker. There's 3 people swinging around the city right now holding a Spider mantle. That doesn't make any of them less Spider-Man, and it doesn't make any of them more Spider-Man than the other. Peter may have started it, but other characters have made it their own, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing that stuff like that has happened. So I'm hoping people understand that no matter how much longer this debate goes, it's not really something that we are totally in control of. And honestly, not accepting the fact that it's okay to have more than one person behind the mantle of a certain character, that if people can't accept that, then I'm sorry, but you're in a rude awakening, because that's just how it is. One character doesn't hold a mantle forever. It's just how it is sometimes. But anyways, guys, that's it for this video. This is more or less just like a rant, and as well as an analysis of why I believe this whole debate is just stupid, to be honest. Again, a lot of people are probably going to debate this whole thing for like a long time. It's the internet. They have a hard time letting go. They have a hard time letting go. That's just something that I can't really control. I wish I could, but I can't. But all I say is this. Miles Morales is Spider-Man. He will forever be Spider-Man. He's not the original. He's not the Spider-Man. He is his own Spider-Man. Just as any other character that has taken up the Spider-Man mantle. And that's something that I have accepted, something that I love when it comes to comic book superheroes. That it's not just one person. It could be a whole community. That's just the power that comes with these characters. But alright, guys. See you guys in the next video or in the next live. This is J King, signing out.